Hey everybody, it's Adam. Here in this week's video, we're going to be talking about tuxedo cats, along going over some interesting facts about them. So, fact number one, what exactly is a tuxedo cat? A tuxedo cat is not a specific breed, more so it is a specific type of pattern. So, this pattern is of two colors, and it kind of forms a tuxedo-like shape where they have this white patch on their chest. Usually they have little white gloves on their paws and little white socks on their feet. They tend to also have a white piece that comes up around their face, so it's kind of like a masked pattern. Knowing that most tuxedo cats are not a specific breed, um, and that many different breeds of cats can be tuxedos, but most tuxedo cats are called moggies, which refers to a type of cat that was not selectively bred. So it's not a combination of any two breed cats, and they are not purebred cats at all. All right, this leads me into fact number two that all tuxedos, or as we affectionately call them, tuxies, do not have to be black and white. When most, though, think of a cat, it is that black and white image. They don't have to be black and white, though, at all. The defining trait of a tuxedo cat is called the bipalding effect, which involves white spotting across the body combined with a solid color. That color could be black, that color could be gray, that color could be orange, multiple colors. So these cats are bicolor. They have a combination of white and then a secondary solid color that forms the tuxedo pattern, as mentioned earlier. A tuxedo cat can technically be one of many different colors. However, I think myself and most people probably think of a black and white tuxedo. That is kind of the classic tuxedo cat image with its little vest on, its little tux on, hence the name tuxedo cat. This leads me into fact number three that not all black and white cats can be considered tuxedos. Um, so there are black and white cats. They come in a wide variety of different patterns depending on where the black and the white is distributed across their body and how, in most cases. A black and white cat who doesn't have the balding pattern would just be considered a bicolor cat. And then you have other categorizations based on the percentage of white and where those blotches of black are distributed on the body. So, for example, some cats are primarily white with a few black splotches, and those are described as cow cats. These cats can be described as high white or harlequin cats, which means they're about 60 to 80% white with some splotches of another color. And then the percentage of white can go even higher. So if a cat is over 80% white and they just have a few splotches of white of a black color on their head and their tail, they can be considered a black van cat. Here's a diagram of various black and white cats. Fact number four is tuxedos do not have to have tuxedo parents. So a tuxedo cat technically does not have to have two tuxedo parents. The black and white or the white color or coloring comes from that bipalding gene as mentioned earlier. This comes from the white spotting allele, and the kitten only needs to inherit one of these spotting genes from one parent in order to end up being one of these white spotted or balded cats. Now, the genes that determine how that bipalding occurs on the body and what type of pattern it is develops into whether it's going to be a tuxedo pattern. It's not really well understood, but we do know that the kitten does not need to have two or really even one tuxedo cat parent. They just need to inherit one of these white spotting alleles and one of the black alleles, and then they will end up being some sort of black and white cat. Okay, so fact number five, to hopefully simplify a little bit what I said, bicolor patterns are complicated. So this is a bit of a complicated, sciencey kind of topic, but let me try to explain this fact number five. We don't really understand the genetic mechanisms that determine exactly which pattern a bicolor cat is going to have. In other words, whether or not the cat is going to put tuxedo or not. So again, it's the result of a genetic mutation called balding, and this causes a certain patch of the skin to lack melanocytes, which are pigmented cells, and so this causes the cat to have some white patches. But how do those white patches form across the body, and why do they tend to form in certain patterns? Well, that is something that is not fully understood. So for a long time, the thought was that these melanocytes would go across the embryo when they were in their womb still, and they were moving consistently over the embryo during its development, and you would end up with the white patch on the belly or maybe the head because there were none of these melanocytes that they were going too slow. Now, more recent research has shown that it seems like these same melanocytes are popping up more or less randomly, so they are not moving across the embryo as much as it has more to do with the proliferation, like how many are patching here, patching there, than speed. So they're moving just as quickly as other cells, but they do not divide as quickly. So it seems like there's a combination of factors. But honestly, we really don't understand how this is working. All right, fact number 6, which I think is a really cool one, that the tuxie gloves are probably considered a sign of domestication. Tuxedo cats are among the cats most likely to have these types of gloves or socks because of domestication. White colorization on the paws is something that we almost see in all domesticated animals, and very rarely you ever see these paws, these white gloves, or these white socks on wild cats. And the reason is, it's theorized, is that when cats started entering human settlements, that the humans took better care of those cats who were born with white socks. So it became increasingly more common among domesticated cats. You also notice that these socks are seen on other domesticated animals, such as horses, pigs, cows, but seldom you will see their wild cousins. The wild counterparts, they usually don't have any socks, gloves on them. So whenever you're out and about and you see a wild cat or you see a wild animal, they're not gonna have gloves or socks, on. So just something really cool, I think. Alright, so fact number 7 to me is a little sad, and that has to do with tuxedos may get less adopted than other types of cats. You've probably heard that black cats are less likely to get adopted or spend more time in the shelter. So there was a study that was done, a few years ago, and it found that, black cats or black and white cats have only about a 70% chance of those that get adopted each month compared to nearly 80 to 85 percentage of other types of cats, other types of breeds, other types of kitty coloring. It's a pretty significant difference. To me, it's pretty sad. I don't know. What do you think? Do you notice that? Does it seem like cats that are black or cats that are black and white, tuxedo cats, cow cats have a harder time getting adopted? Let me know in the comments what you think about that one. But there is some proof though. There are some stats that are showing that it's harder for tuxedo cats to get adopted than some of the other kitty counterparts. I'm going to combine facts 8 and facts 9 together because they kind of go together somewhat. It is known that most tuxedo cats are predominantly male compared to, like, say, calicos are predominantly female. The ninth fact is that um, tuxedo cats are more friendly, more loving, more caring. Do you notice that if you have a tuxedo cat? Do you also notice that? What do you know? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.